Let's take a look up here.
Data analyst Harry Hinton talking about how bad Kamala Harris is doing with black men and women and how much better Trump is doing to the extent that he is poised to do the best in 64 years among black voters. Listen.
This is the Democratic margin among black men under the age of 45. Back to November of 2012, what do you see? You see Obama by 81. Clinton only won him by 63. Then we're all the way down to Biden last time around by 53. A tremendous drop already. And then you take a look at the average of the most recent polls, and Kamala Harris is up by only 41 points. That is about half the margin that Obama won them by back in November of 2012.
How about black men overall?
If younger black men, it looks like the worst Democratic performance since 1960, since JFK versus Richard Nixon.
If these numbers on black voters are accurate, Kamala Harris's math doesn't add up.
And that's exactly what I've seen anecdotally. And I you know what I call this? I call this the Myron Gaines effect.
Oh my God.
Because but if you go look.
So the DHS was right.
Yeah, the DHS was right. I've said this before. You and I have been doing different shows in the Manosphere for a while. And I've asked you this before. This country is about 14% black, 13% black. What percentage of the country of the Manosphere do you think is black?
God, that's a tough question. I would say at least a third.
A third. I'd say 30. I'd say 33% of the Manosphere is black.
33.
So now you want to consider of all these people who are Googling Andrew Tate and all the people that watch Fresh and Fit or whatever podcast, we're talking about a third of them are African American. The bent in the Manosphere is to which political party?
Oh, very much the conservative side.
It's exclusive. It's almost entirely conservative. In fact, I can think of very few content creators. There's a few pickup artists that are liberal, but for the most part, it's almost entirely conservative.
I mean, that's the reason why Myron, myself, Aaron Clary, and a lot of other creators are on that DHS, the Department of Homeland Security watch list right now. That's one of the reasons. Honestly, I think that's what we're seeing happening right now, especially with that, is because we have NGOs. We have Diverting Hate NGO out of Arizona, who's been really tracking me and basically, throttling my traffic for over a year right now. All this is, by the way, there's no secrets about this. They put out biannual reports on this saying we are choking we're redirecting their traffic and we're choking them off right now. And the reason for that is, so why would they do that? The only reason that I can think of is because they don't want our influence, my influence, Myron's influence, anybody who is in a sort of the masculine improvement sphere, however we want to, call it, they are concerned that, and you're going to find out here in just a minute when we talk about Scott Galloway, they're concerned that guys like myself and Myron are going to in some way encourage guys to vote for Trump, and that it is a direct threat. And we already know this because where does the Harris campaign go? They go and they want to ridicule, masculinity. Then they want to redefine masculinity in that second one. By the way, those are the only two of probably 4 or 5 of these things. And so they're essentially trying to find some way to say, well, this is bad. This is toxic masculinity and this is good masculinity. And we need more good masculine people. And they still can't get over themselves in the fact that guys are going to be guys no matter what. So if they're voting for Trump or they're voting for Kamala, you're looking at two different animals. You're looking at two different guys, two different forms or definitions of masculinity. One of those is these guys who want to be sort of like Tim Walz, right? Tim Walz is supposed to be this bastion of this new male kind of, he's a coach and he's just a nice guy and he just sort of goes along, get along, and that's the kind of masculinity we need. And then you've got the Trump masculine guys who are more like Andrew Tate, or these guys are just full of macho bullshit, and each one of those is a caricature of the most extreme ends of this.
So what I said before is the reason why you end up on a DHS watch list is not because what you're saying is dangerous, and it's not because what you're saying the idea
I'm sure I'll be dropped right after right after this election. I'm sure that it all goes away.
I want to literally, ladies, who here has lost an Instagram account because of stuff that you posted on there? Yeah, Instagram. So you're telling me that Meta likes women? Is that what Meta's a defender of women? Why don't you look at Meta's terms of service? Meta will take your account down for sexually suggestive posts. Who suggests whether or not you guys have sex? Is it the people looking at your post? Who is it that gets to suggest when you have sex? Who is it that gets to suggest that? Tell me, who is it? You were talking about women's rights. Who suggests when you have sex? You do. You do. So how does Meta get to tell you that this post is fucking sexually suggestive and then get rid of your account? Hey guys, anybody want to know, how did Instagram become so popular? Was it because they kept showing women in turtlenecks? What did they do to become so popular? Anybody let me know. Let me know. What was it the thing they did? Huh? Booty pics.
Booty
So wait,
pics.
you're telling me that Meta used the labor of basically half naked women to grow their platform. And then once Mercedes-Benz and McDonald's wanted to become advertisers, they dumped all these women and then started getting rid of their accounts. And they're the ones protecting women from Andrew Tate. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here, dude. That is crazy to me. It's so crazy to me. It's like, no, Meta, no one hates women more than Instagram. The idea that we're on this DHS watch list, or you're on one because of the fact that they're trying to protect women is absurd. You're on the watch list because it's causing minority men, Black and Hispanic men,
primarily,
to finally start considering voting Republican. That is the reason why this is going on.
I had a question for Eden. Would you be voting for Kamala just simply because she's a Black woman versus Trump, aside from any of her policies?
No, I voted for Joe Biden.
Well, so to add to that, that's what I was asking, if I could just pick your brain a little, because one of the things that you had mentioned were women rights. But whenever you hear her speak, she is one of the people who cannot give you a hard definition of what a woman actually is. She is one of the people that will tell you, well, a woman is someone who declares themselves as a woman. You cannot, unfortunately, describe a word using the word itself. So to say that she is for women's rights, she can't even tell you what a woman is. She wants to give women rights to him next to you. If he were to decide to say that he's a woman today, he would be able to have the same rights as you.
Alive.
We do not want to get into picking on the liberal. We're not doing that.
I can take it.
Go ahead.
No, I believe I said reproductive rights. Actually, not women's rights.
You said both, but that's okay.
No, I said reproductive, and I said I'm very pro-woman.